this feeling when you have a chord, maybe C7, you're gonna play something on that, but you don't really know what the options are? Well, I clearly remember that feeling, and I think one of the ideas with practicing and learning the instrument is basically having an arsenal of options that we can choose from, whether it's lines, idea, concepts, but also literally scales. So what I want to do right now is go over 10 scales, 10 colors that we can play over a dominant chord over C7. Let's do it. So some of them might be obvious, but some of them definitely are not obvious. There are 10 levels in this video. Make sure you stick around because some really cool things, some really cool colors are coming up toward the end. 1. C7 dominant. So when I'm saying C7 dominant scale, I'm basically meaning these notes. Right? This is what we call also mixolydian. These notes are also to be found in the key of F. Why is that? It's because C7 is the 5th degree, the dominant of F major. So a lot of times when you actually know the fingerings all across the neck for F major, you can actually grab that when you're playing C7. Now I do think about the center C7, I do see the fingerings in relationship to C7, but also theoretically it's really helpful to understand that you actually already play that scale. Let's check it out. So the scale here, basically the colors that I'm getting are just describing the color of the C7 in a very kind of plain but also descriptive way. So it's a very good option. Fingerings for C7. Oh, by the way, we have vinyls on print, so if you like the album and you like the music, please, you can get your own copy of the vinyl. That would be awesome if you want it. Thanks. Let's go for it. 2. C blues. Now, when we're playing the C blues scale over C7, we're actually getting some cool colors. But we're getting the flat 3, which sounds great, the 4, the 5, the flat 7, but also, very importantly, the flat 5 here. So check it out. So yeah, it's a very fun scale, really fun to improvise, and definitely those colors, the flat 3 there, really gives a lot of vibe to this. And of course, you can also mix all these ideas, right? So you can take the C7 and throw in some of the blues scale and go back to the C7 and throw that. Fingerings for C blues. There's also a PDF with tabs and notation on the Patreon if that's helpful. 3. A minor pentatonic. So why am I playing that? It's because I want to get these colors. So if I'm playing the A minor pentatonic, I'm getting the 3, the 9, the 1, the 6, and the 5, which it's basically like playing C major pentatonic. I'm not really getting the tension, but it's still nice. Right, that kind of color. And of course, if I mix it with the other two, we're starting to get somewhere. Okay, so this is all cool, but this is pretty kind of still on the basic side of things. But what happens if I want to create much more tension? Well, one of the scales that I love using the colors of is the diminished scales. So check out the fingerings really quick. And let's hear it on the loop. It's just the scale. So intense. But so beautiful, and the kind of resonates so beautiful. It's just, it hits so many of these tensions. It's all tension basically. If this is C, we get the flat 9, the sharp 9, the 3, but also we're getting the 7, the 13, the 5. So nice. And a flat 5. Whole tone scale. Basically it's the augmented, right? That magical sound. Let's hear it on dominant. That's the scale. Of course, if I mix it with other things, so what I just did, I was kind of using some of the diminished, some of the dominant, the mixolydian, some of the blues scale, and the augmented. So I started mixing all these ideas and colors to create more tension. And it's very important to remember that when we're creating the tension, we also want to kind of get to a point of release, kind of resolving it somewhere. So it's always about this tension and release. So right now we're kind of talking about C7, you know, just kind of living in the world out of context, but of course when you're playing songs, it's always in context and it's oftentimes going somewhere. So 6, the altered scale. This is one of the probably biggest names of jazz improvisation. The reason is, again, it's a beautiful, beautiful color that gives us the kind of center. We get the 1, we get the 3, we get the flat 7, which are the most important notes in the description of the chord, but we also get all these other extensions. So check it out, just really slowly. Check it out. What we have here is the 1, the flat 9, the sharp 9, the 3, flat 5, the flat 13 basically, right? The sharp 5 you will, flat 7 and 1. So again, it's a beautiful color to bring into the discussion because it just gives us a lot of tension. Let's check it out for a second on the loop. Just a scale. So, of course, once we get comfortable with it, we can start adding chromatic things and adding ideas. And of course, we don't have to play only the altered scale. We can play all these other ideas and all these other levels that we talked about. At the end of the day, it's just colors and expression. And sometimes it's very convenient for us to organize the note and the colors in a scale. But the truth is that it's just sounds and colors. 7, mixolydian flat 5. Now, both for the altered, it's of course very easy to think about the melodic minor shapes because it's basically the same thing. So if I have a C7, I do think about the altered scale, but I also know that I'm basically playing the 7th degree, if you will, of the altered, of the melodic minor. So basically D flat melodic minor from the 7th. And the same goes with the mixolydian flat 5. So I know that this is mixolydian, and then I know I'm just doing the flat 5, so I get the F sharp. But I also see, because I practice my G melodic minor scale, so I see that, oh, it's actually also G melodic minor, which is helpful because we know the notes, and all these connections are just giving us more access to more colors. So let's hear the scale once again. Of course, I can mix that with the altered. And with all the other colors. So I guess the point of this video is kind of like just giving you the sounds and colors that you can grab and the ones you dig, just start working on the scale, start working on the fingering so you can really see it, and then, you know, of course, singing it, writing some lines, trying to transcribe some stuff, just trying to explore the sounds to get a better, you know, concept of each one of these colors. 8. Okay, so this is where we get maybe more extreme. So when I have a C7, we know in jazz world that I can use different substitutions. So one of the substitutions is trident substitution. So F7. And if I'm playing F7 scale over C7, check it out, literally playing F7 dominant, it's pretty harsh. It's a lot, but also it's really cool because it gives us all these tensions and all these colors. And what's really cool is once we start mixing the F7, the F sharp 7 with the C7. So let's listen to that for a second. So I'm shifting between the F sharp 7 and the C7 because the real chord is C7, right? But so again, this is another way of conceptualizing and seeing these extreme colors, but in connection to this root center of C. Not 9. So here what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over a few more dominants. So I'm gonna shift between A, F sharp, E flat 7, and C7. So I'm basically gonna use 4 dominants in minor thirds apart. And again, this is going to sound more extreme, it's going to sound more out, and the idea is with these sounds and colors, these scales, is that we can use them to create a tension and then go back home for the release. So I'll play A7, F sharp, E flat to C. So what I did is like a little cheat, so I did play A, F sharp, E flat, and C, but I also used the same shape and I kind of articulated the triads there, so you can hear the colors even more harshly. You can also just use the scales, check that out. So yeah, that's pretty out, right? So I'm really thinking about this A7, F sharp, E flat to C. That's a lot of tensions. Let's hear it one more time. So I was thinking about these 4 centers and adding a little chromatic to connect them. It's still extremely harsh. 10, you made it. So this one is really just about color, and I think this is maybe the deepest one, and I love using it because at the end of the day, music is just about sounds and colors. So I'll kind of listen to the center of C, and oftentimes I'll sing all these kind of things. Do, mi, bemol, mi, do, si, si, mol. Just to hear do, like hearing all these colors, but then I'll just play it on the chord. No color is wrong. So at the end of the day, I think for me, what was helpful to understand is some options, right? So you have chords and you say, okay, what can I play that sounds correct, quote unquote. And then from there, we can start exploring more colors and more tension. And then at the end of the day, it all becomes this one big thing of color. That's how I kind of feel. And I think I still hear the colors of diminished or colors of augmented or altered or different things, but you know, when I'm trying to solo, I don't really think about scales anymore. It's just like kind of like one color that I can try and experience. Again, I think it takes time and it's always a process, but I think the more we do it, the more we aim for that, the better we can explore and hear things. So yeah. Thanks so much for listening. I hope this was interesting and fun, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.